too. So I have you guys on your iPad.
All right, so you can turn that off.
Turn this off.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, but I'm using it for the comments.
All right, I'm muted. Sorry.
Okay, there's a total reverb. How's that working?
I don't know. Where is that? Oh, it's open twice.
There we go.
That was why. All right, we're here. See?
We're here. Everyone can hear everybody. We're good.
Ty, you there?
Nah.
You mean still not? Oh, no, I muted you on here. That's why. Oh, that freaked me out. Okay. Say something. Oh, it's open twice.
Ha.
That's why.
Well, lots of delay.
All right, we're here. See here.
I'm going to start singing Say Something.
All right.
I'm not breaking up with you. You're one of our... Oh, we don't have favorites, but we love you.
Ty, are you here? I can't, why can't I hear him on here?
I don't know, babe. We're going to have to figure out something, though. We got to roll with it. So
I got it. So I guess come back on Zoom. I'm sorry. I thought I had it fixed. I thought it was just muted. That didn't work. I'm sorry, dude.
Yep. And apologies to everyone who's watching. I know maybe it's entertaining. I hope you're finding the entertainment in this and can use it as, a lesson, or however you take it is how you take it. And it's all good. Let's start singing and dancing in a bit.
All right. That one?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right, now can everybody hear him? We can reset. All right. So reset, emotionally release. All right. So we just got you on, and we're super excited for this call. Everybody, make sure to stick around to the end. This is going to be super powerful because, well, Ty's a super powerful dude, and he's made some huge breakthroughs in this program and just working with us, and we're just super excited to have him here.
Yeah, totally. So everyone give a big, lots of hearts, lots of likes. Now that we finally got this all, the kinks worked out, to Mr. Ty Alexander. High five, dude. You're doing amazing things, super fun things happening for you, and I love watching you grow. So why don't you just give a quick intro of what it is that you do, like the clients that you work with, and then kind of what you do for them.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ty Alexander. I work with people who have experienced trauma and have PTSD or unresolved trauma, and their families, specifically their spouses and partners. So I work with pretty much the whole family so that they can restore their relationship and return to having a normal and fantastic life.
That's amazing, because I know PTSD, have been able to thankfully get over that hump myself. I can know how devastating that is, not just for the person going through it, but for the family as well, and being able to get through that. So I love your mission. I love what it is that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I say all the time that PTSD and unresolved trauma is a relationship disorder. It affects everybody that the person is in a relationship with and the family, and it definitely affects the whole circle.
Did we fix the echo? I muted him on BeLive, so now his audio is going to be coming through ours. Can we get it's better?
It's better when he's sitting back.
Yeah, I think it's good now. It's just let us know, Karen, Reg. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I really want to appreciate you guys and everyone who's watching this with us for working with us through the kinks and giving us some feedback. Definitely echoing. Got that. It's better. Cool.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Karen says it's better. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. So awesome.
So Ty, I want to know, when you first met us, I don't even remember, how did we meet? Do you remember where you came from, or how did that all happen?
You started popping up in my Facebook feed. I'm not sure exactly why or how that happened, but probably because Facebook listens to you when you talk. And, you know, there's definitely an algorithm going on that knows that I'm a coach, knows that I'm looking to build my business. And your post just started popping up on my Facebook feed.
Cool.
Awesome. And give us like an idea of like where you were at before, like before Charlie, and just give us an idea of like where you were at with your business in the sense of like, you know, audience and who you're working with and your processes. If we kind of like walked you through even like the idea of our, you know, our model of messaging, tribe, that type of stuff, like where kind of where you paint the picture of where you were before you get started with us.
Yeah. So when I met you guys, I was just finishing up creating a signature program that I had been working on for several months through another program. And up to this point, every single client I've ever had, now I've been coaching since 2012. Every client I've ever had was a referral. I've never gotten a cold client. And I mean, I've had a pretty steady business, but every single client I've ever had has been a referral. And that's pretty much how I had been working. I hadn't done a whole lot of outside marketing. I had just developed this signature program, which I was getting ready to launch. And I knew from my experience since 2012 trying to build my business that there was a lot of moving pieces to it. And I didn't want to make the same mistake that I had made in the past and pay a bunch of money for a bunch of supporting software. You guys know there's 100 different software packages that you can buy that's supposed to support you as a coach. I had made the mistake in the past of buying stuff probably prematurely and not really understanding how to fully integrate it into my business. And it ended up being a lot of frustration, you know, a lot of frustration emotionally and energy wise and what I was putting forward. And a lot of money spent basically on software that ultimately didn't end up getting integrated or enhancing my business in any way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. So give me an idea of, so people would come to you and you'd get referrals from people, like I'm just getting an idea of like how many referrals were you getting and like how many of those did you close all of them all the time, or what was your process? Do you get full price? Were you getting full price most of the time? Like what did that look like?
Yeah, so I was probably closing on about 65 to 70% of the clients that were referred to me. And I never charged what I considered to be full price for my coaching. I had always, I mean, literally since 2012, I had always given a discounted price. You know, I had this idea or this impression that the people that I was working with couldn't afford my services essentially. So I ended up discounting my price every single time. You know, depending on the month, there were definitely some high months where I was making $5,000 to $6,000 a month, but there were some lower months where I was making around $2,500 to $3,000 a month, and that was pretty much my average for the past few years.
Got it. Okay, and so what about? So did you have a process for like your enrollment process, like talking to people, like were you qualifying them before even if they were referrals, and what did that look like?
No, I wasn't qualifying people. I was just doing basically cold discovery calls with people. And because I was in a scarcity conversation of, I'm working with a group of people who can't really afford my services and constantly trying to get the next one, but feeling like I couldn't charge full price. I never actually turned away a client. I definitely took on some clients that I probably should not have been working with because it turned out to be a lot more energy expended and a lot of frustration on my part because they weren't at a point in their process where coaching would have benefited them. But coming from that scarcity mindset of I've got to get the next client where I can, I essentially took everybody who came to me who said yes.
Wow. So I just want to get an idea of the people that are watching who can relate with maybe not getting paid what you think you should, and like that you should be, and I'm not like should in the quotes.
That should all over you. And
right. But like you should be charging way more, right? And maybe you should be charging a bunch more, and you have this negative talk in your head of like maybe my people can't afford a higher rate, or I can't even afford the full price, and you're constantly discounting, or any of that. Like I'm just kind of curious on like who's been in that conversation.
Yeah, and I know there's a little bit of delay.
Yeah, so we'll keep going. So what about, so you've never had anybody cold come to you that you didn't know who they were, or they weren't referred to you, come like to join or interested in your coaching. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Got it. And what about, so what had you jump on the phone with us for our first call?
The big attraction to you was that it seemed like you had the whole package, from systems to software, kind of like this whole package of, or a system of teaching people how to go through the process, integrate systems that need to be integrated in a really streamlined way that was attractive to me. Like I said, I've tried various softwares before and was disappointed with either their customer support or their setup, or how complicated the software was, and I just couldn't get it to really do anything for my business. And I felt like you guys came in with a system where you taught not only the process, but the integration and kind of the whole package, which is really what I was looking for.
Yeah. Cool. So you're doing good. Like a lot of people on here are like, yeah, wow, he was doing good. And I knew that you had a bigger vision, but like, and I know when we first had a conversation, we're like, you need to kind of get your foundations in line before we start really creating the automation and doing all that stuff. How did that conversation go with you? And like, why did you go along with that?
Yeah, so I think that was really important for me to hear, because when I literally graduated from coaching school and I started looking for software packages to support a coaching business. And I ended up signing up for Infusionsoft. Now, if anybody knows anything about Infusionsoft, it's thousands of dollars to sign up, thousands of dollars to onboard, to get trained. And then it's a high ticket every single month. And, I spoke to them and I told them that I was a new coach. And rather than saying our software is probably too advanced for where you are in your business, they were like, okay, awesome. That's great. We'll help you blow up your business. And they signed me up, and I spent a good 6 months just trying to figure out how to use the software. Needless to say, I ended up keeping the software longer than I should have, and didn't make a single sale with the software. Because one thing that I came to realize is it's not the software that's going to make the sale for you, it's your process. And I didn't have those processes in place. So I had this major machine of a software behind me with no process.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to you guys and you said you need to get to a certain point before you start automating, and explained needing to have the hands-on experience with my clients, needing to have the hands-on experience running my program in order to get the feedback, and in order to make shifts that get to be made throughout the process, it just made a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's big, because especially there's like my heart to you for Infusionsoft. So I've worked with Infusionsoft, and I've worked with people who their full-time gig is just setting up and working Infusionsoft for entrepreneurs, because I know that's a hefty program. And, that's unfortunate how it is. People, they're all about making that sale and selling you a bunch of stuff that you don't need yet. And I'm still not convinced And I don't know. We found so much easier ways. Like the simpler you can make things, the more successful you can go out and be, and then focus on what you're really good at. So
yeah, especially when getting up and when you have a high ticket program, you can get to multiple six figures super easy, no automation. Our philosophy is really automation, and those systems are, one, to buy back time, and two, for scaling. And scaling means, 200K to $1 million, not like we're starting to use the word scale because some people resonate with it at like 50 to 250,000 a year to like 250K. And it's cool. You speak to where people are, not where you want them to be. So,
and I want to really acknowledge you, because there's a lot of coaches like, no, I got my foundations. I don't need foundations. That's the last thing I need. Right. But you're like so open to like, no, maybe, okay, I got it. Like let's do this. Let's get in the trenches for a bit and really learn about our customer, your clients, and get those objections and really get in the trenches. And when you get in the trenches, you get your hands dirty, and it's a lot easier to go out and automate because you've been there, you've done it, right? And to really follow the process. I think that's huge.
And it also feels like it builds confidence as a coach. Going through the process and building those relationships with people and really starting from the ground up rather than starting running and jumping before you're even walking. I feel like going through this process where I get to go back and kind of learn how to crawl and walk again has really built a lot of confidence that I attribute to the success that I've had since I've been in the program.
Yeah. And let's kind of look at that. So I know you continue to get referrals, right? People are still coming to you, and that's awesome. Like kind of what you did with them seemed different, right? So
yeah, I basically modeled the approach that you guys took with me when we had our discovery call. I've been qualifying people into the groups and stuff as I've been working as you teach, and basically I modeled the discovery call that you had with me, which was 3 simple questions, because I already had a rapport and a relationship with all 5 of these clients that I ended up signing. So they knew who I am, they know what I'm about. And so I modeled the discovery call very similar to the discovery call that I had with you guys. And as you know, I closed all 5 clients. I closed 100% of the clients paying full price. As a matter of fact, one of the clients paid me more than what I asked for because he said he felt like it would have him showing up more powerfully. So
send me those.
Yeah, so that's never happened before.
Who would like to get paid more than you ask to your clients for because they want to show up better in your program? That's badass.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is really having frameworks like in place that work, where you went from a discovery call where you were just talking, just having a conversation with people, to having a very structured call with the frameworks that brought your closing rate from 60 to 70% to 100%.
Yeah.
And getting
totally. The discovery calls that I was having before was the type of discovery call that they teach you to have when you're a coach, which is basically having a free coaching session. And then you get to the end, and then there's that awkward moment where you're like, well, for me, let me speak for me. I would have this amazing discovery call, have all these breakthroughs, then I have to get to the end and be like, oh crap, now I have to ask for money. And it was just this really awkward thing. But the thing that was so beautiful to me about the process that you guys used for discovery call is that the ball is entirely on their court. By the time you go through the process of asking these 3 questions, they've already sold themselves on your product. And you're not asking them for anything. You're asking them how they want to move forward.
Yeah. That's really good. So who here would like to know what those questions are and how to use them? So only if people respond, that's the only way we're going to unleash that. And then also, who would like to know some ways of maybe like having people show up on a call, even if they're not referrals? They could have been cold a day, a week, whatever ago, and they could show up on these calls and be in the same spot as their referral. Who wants to know that? And so Thomas said yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Hey, Charles. Hey, Craig. Cool. We got a lot of people hopping on. So I'm curious, because I know there's a little bit of delay here, what's been the time difference between what you were doing before with those calls to like we'll call it the new way, the 2.0
When you
calls?
say time difference, do you mean the call duration?
Mhm.
Yeah, so the discovery calls that I was having the old way, they were anywhere from an hour to an hour and 20 minutes.
Mm.
The discovery call that I had the new way is 15 minutes tops.
That's huge.
So good.
That's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're selling themselves. You have a higher closing rate. No pushy awkwardness. You're getting full price for, that's like way less, what is that, 3/4 of the time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 75% less time. That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it.
And I guess who's ever ran into, and we got some people saying yes, so we're going to kind of talk about that. But who's ever ran into that weird where you like give them this amazing call and then you get to the end and then they're like, then you got to ask them for money and you're like, I made a friend. Like I gave them all this value and like now they're not going to like me if I ask their money. Like who's ever felt that before?
The point of awkward.
Yes.
Yes.
So Ty, what's the first question that
People
you
are
asked them?
dying to know what the questions are.
Yes.
So
So basically, I mean, there was preliminary conversation with these clients because I was now qualifying clients before I even took a discovery call with them. So I had qualified them as my ideal client. They knew who I was and what I'm about and what I do. And basically I asked 3 questions. I asked, why this? Why now? And why me? And by the time they answered those 3 questions, they've already talked themselves into buying my program. So at that point, I said, okay, so how do you want to move forward? And 100% they were like, tell me how I pay for the program. What's the cost? How do I pay? And let's get started.
Yeah, and that's like a really, really simple down version of kind of like what we do. We teach in the program. You just took like what we did from the beginning and with you, and it worked. And so you're like, hell yeah, let's do this, and it worked. So great job. And I love that when people are just doing stuff, like they're just watching what we do, and then just going out and doing it instead of waiting for us to actually teach it to them, which is awesome. So let's kind of talk about like how the marketing stuff has been different. Like how is like, do you have like people coming to you or and I don't even know the answer to this because I don't really know, is like, do you feel like I know you haven't really, and maybe you have, I don't even know, is had calls or booked or where are you at in the sense of other people that aren't referrals? How is that looking? So
I'm starting to get people funneled into my group and, you know, the warming pool, and I'm having dynamic conversations with people. I haven't even really had call to actions in terms of my new program because I'm still in the process of just refining the details, but I'm going to be prepared to do that within the next week or so. And I'll start having call to actions for people to actually sign up for discovery calls for this new program that I've developed.
Cool. Make sure you keep us posted on how that's going.
I went a little into coaching mode there. And I'm going to anyways. So what details do you need to feel like it's like done or what sellable?
I'm just finalizing the outline. I haven't even like gotten into the details of each module. I mean, I have an idea, of course, but I'm just finalizing the outline of the program so that I can clearly say, these are the outcomes that participants will have by participating in the program fully, because I want to be really clear up front about what it is that I'm selling.
So do you know that when Thomas got into our program, he was like one of our first into the case study. It's in a completely different order than the way it is now. So, and we've added and taken out and like did a bunch of different stuff.
We're always optimizing.
Yeah, you're never,
as a coach and a business owner, you always want to optimize with how can we put something out there first, and then how can we continue to improve it as we move forward. So a lot of times people get stuck and they're like, I have to have all the details, I have to have everything all together. I'm going to challenge you by the end of the day today to send us over the day when it's going to start.
Do you have a day, like a starting day?
I've kind of been going back and forth as to whether or not I wanted to do something for the holidays because people with trauma really struggle getting through the holidays. So I was thinking of doing something to help people make it through the holidays. But then there was a part of me that was like, oh, you should sell for January because that's a good day, like new beginnings and stuff. But I think I'm leaning more towards getting people signed up and started for the holidays.
I like that.
So our case study launches monthly. So you can have a different theme on each one of your programs that launch, right? So the first one could be like surviving the holidays, and the second one could be new beginnings, and that's totally cool.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So you just have to have an onboarding that allows new people to come in and bring them in without two things, without interrupting the existing people and throwing them off and it being really like disruptive that way, but also not taking the new people and throwing them into the fire.
Yeah. So you can take our process to a T and model that because it works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk off. And Barb asked, like, what's the process to qualify? Barb, if you go into the modules of the case study, Jeff, if you could tell Barb what module that was.
Of converting conversations.
Yeah,
we literally in our program have, and then for people who are not in as well, we literally have frameworks to be able to construct your qualifying questions, to be able to have these discovery calls where you're going from, hour and a half conversations, giving away all the free puppies and having that awkwardness asking for money to that 15-minute conversation of, we can't guarantee 100% yes. I think that's freaking awesome and I absolutely love it.
It tells me you're undercharging.
That could be a thing. To be able to have those very structured frameworks for when you're on that call, what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and to make it a very smooth process. That's part of the big thing of converting conversations, and then also having the the qualifying and then the converting conversations into clients is a big part. When you have the systems and the frameworks in place, as you can see, you can save time. I mean, you're saving time on every call that you make now. An hour and a half, that's no joke of a call. Right, to move that into 15 minutes and get better results is incredible. So that's the power of having frameworks and putting those frameworks into place. But I want a puppy, Jeff says. You have a puppy. No puppies, no more puppies for you.
So Barb wants to know how you qualified the people before you got them on the call.
Yeah, so the first thing is, I basically have a form that I use where I have people apply to be a client, and it asks them things, very basic, like, are you someone who experiences PTSD or unresolved trauma? On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think it is for you to heal? And the reason I ask that question is because the number one indicator whether someone heals from PTSD is the belief that they can. If someone doesn't believe that they can heal from PTSD, there's nothing you can do to initiate healing. So I make sure that they're in the arena where they believe that they can actually heal. And then I ask them how motivated they are to heal from their unresolved trauma. I ask them how soon they want to get started, whether they want to get started now, within the next 3 months, within the next 6 months, or within the next year. And then I ask them if they were able to achieve everything that they wanted to within the next 3 months, how much would that be worth to them to pay?
I like that. That's a great question. See, that's when you can take these non-monetary, because this is the thing is, it's like people that value things. People that don't value things, they don't value them, right? And so it really comes down to that is like what Tig does for somebody could be worth tens of thousands of dollars for somebody. And then it could be worth not $5 for somebody else. And if you can take and figure out a way to get people to quantify what your service is worth to them, then they can go, we're willing to invest that much money, or like less money in the sense of if they're like, well, that'd be worth $100,000 to me. Okay, cool. It's $10,000. It's 10% of, you're getting 10 times the value. And I'm not saying change your prices due to how much it's worth. And if you can get them to quantify to that, you could just show how serious somebody is in really hiring somebody.
Yeah, the interesting thing about qualifying my clients is that before I started doing this, I used to get on discovery calls with people, literally get on a call with people for an hour and 20 minutes who were completely shocked that I made an offer to them at the end of the call. I had people coming on discovery calls that didn't know I was going to try to sell them a service, which was bizarre to me that they wouldn't recognize that a discovery call was for that purpose. But having this qualifying application where you're straight up asking people, what is the biggest problem you'd like to solve, and what would it be worth to you to solve that problem in the next 3 months? They come on the call knowing that you're going to sell them services.
Yeah, totally. That's good. Yeah, sometimes people don't even realize that. And who gets taken advantage of with your, like, people just jump on your free time and want to use you for your services? Whoever felt that way?
Ooh, free breakthrough.
Yeah, right? Free breakthrough session. Oh, I'll take a free breakthrough. Thanks.
I remember someone offered a free breakthrough, like, no, anything. And I felt like, I guess because I'm in the industry and we work with coaches every day, all day long. I'm like, I don't even want that. Like, I would feel bad taking that from you. There's such a better way to do this. And it's all good.
Tig, why don't you explain to Angela
Angelina.
Angelina. I think that's how she, what exactly you do and what your work is, how does it work?
What is my work based on?
Yeah.
Okay, so I come from a very broad range of education. I'm a trained medical doctor. I've never practiced, but I have a medical education. I have a master's in global and cross-cultural medicine, and a whole host of certifications under my belt. But all that aside, basically how I came to this was through my personal experience. I myself suffered from PTSD. I was disowned by my family at a very young age for being gay, and basically had to survive on my own. I came to New York City. I figured out how to survive in New York City. And then not too long after that, I experienced 9/11. I was 2 blocks from the towers when they fell, actually. And so I went through that and ended up with PTSD, which I ended up going through my own process, researching, going through my own discovery of what worked for me, and essentially healed my own PTSD just in time for my husband to be sent home from Afghanistan with an injury. And he had spinal surgery and he wasn't healing. And I requested that he be given a psychological evaluation. And basically they came back and said that he had the worst PTSD they had ever seen. And we're lucky enough to live in an area where his doctor is actually specializes in combat PTSD, and she does a lot of the screening for the military. But she said to him, there's nothing we can do but teach you how to live with it. And I looked at him and I said, that is not an acceptable answer. And so I threw myself into researching everything that I could on PTSD and trauma from basically any medical system that I could get a hold of around the world, using my global and cross-cultural medicine degree and background to kind of fuel that research. And when my attention focused to trauma personally, I just started attracting clients and getting referrals for clients who knew what we were going through at home, knew what I was doing. And I started working with clients who had PTSD and trauma. And through trial and error, through trying different things, I've found a system that really works for people. It's a very holistic system. There's a huge nutritional component because there's a lot of ingredients in food that actually mimic the chemicals and the cytokines that are produced in unresolved trauma and PTSD and depression and anxiety. And so there's a nutritional component to it. There's a spiritual component to it. And really what we do is we get into the underlying belief systems that are driving the PTSD or the unresolved trauma. Because what happens with PTSD or unresolved trauma is it changes people's belief system. It changes people's belief about their ability to connect with themselves, with others, and with the world. And when you could deal with those underlying beliefs directly and begin to help people to shift their belief system and their worldview that has been picked up from this trauma, then you really begin to help people heal at the core, because you're not dealing with the symptoms anymore. You're actually dealing with what's driving the PTSD and trauma.
That's so good. I love it.
That's awesome.
So we had a question from William. Do you incorporate NLP or hypnotherapy with your PTSD work?
Do I incorporate NLP or what?
Or hypnotherapy with your work?
I have practitioners who I can refer people to, and I do refer people. I do not do therapy with people.
I like it. So I love how you've put together this program that's really like a mind, body, soul connection to be able to heal and help people through their trauma. So I hope that answered your question.
Actually, you know what? That's a good one. Good question in the sense of you spent like a ton of money to put together this other program, and you went through our stuff. I'm just curious on how it kind of compared in the sense of putting together this new program.
The other program definitely helped me approach this program when I went through your system. The other program is specifically designing transformational trainings. So it goes into the psychology behind transformational trainings. It goes through the process of accelerated learning and different experiential. You learn how to build experiences around different distinctions that you're trying to teach. It was really an intense 9-month program, very quite labor intensive. So having gone through that program, it definitely, I feel like I approached building my signature program with you guys from a little bit different mindset than if I had not gone through that program. But one thing that really stands out to me that's different is the training program that I built through this program is called Trailblazers Academy. It's this huge mammoth 9-month to a year training program. And it definitely is going to have its place in my business. It's definitely something that's going to be sold further on up my funnel. But the program that I developed with you guys is 3 months. So it's just a snippet compared to the other training program that I did. But what I really love about the signature program that I'm creating with you guys is that it's going to get people impact right away. It's going to get them results right away in a short amount of time and see what I'm able to do for a lower price tag. And I feel like that in doing that, it's actually just adding something earlier on in my funnel, where if I can get people the results they're looking for in a short amount of time, then when they come looking for more, that I'll sell them this more in-depth mammoth of a training that really gets in-depth and is very transformational at its core.
That's awesome.
Super awesome.
Yeah, and so awesome. And so, is there anything else that we can help you with, and anything like with what you're at right now and what you're out to? I know we still have a bunch of time together, but like in the sense of a program. But is there anywhere where we could like really help you now?
If I'm being honest, my biggest barrier right now is fishing for people and getting people, cold people into my group. I've kind of been spoiled in my coaching practice in that I've had a pretty regular stream of people who were all referrals, which I guess is a good problem to have on one hand, because I know that I'm getting results for people because they keep referring people. But on the other hand, I know that it's not sustainable in terms of the business that I am looking to build and how much I'm looking to scale my business. So I get a lot more comfortable with, I guess, fishing for those cold clients.
Totally. So how many people do you have in your group currently?
15.
15? Okay. So there's a few things that you can do, and you guys can take everyone that's listening too, if you'd be interested in just a few simple ways to be able to grow your group. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So some things that you can do, I know that you've set up your profile a bit, right? And I'm going to give you some organic, and then so we talk about the feature photo, we talk about the cover photo, and I know you've implemented that. And also like inviting the people that are on your page. I think a lot of times our personal page, like people don't know to go to your cover and that you even have a group. So even mentioning it on your personal page, maybe even like twice a week. I do probably about once or twice a week, inviting people over to your group. Another way is those people that are already in your group, ask them if they have any other people that they know or family or friends that are also struggling that would benefit from being in this group. Right? You never know unless you ask, so don't be afraid to ask. And then also, which we were talking about doing here very shortly, is doing some basic Facebook ads straight to your group. Not the funnel and the whole complicated thing. I think we're going to do that here pretty soon because I see that's a need in the whole community that could probably really benefit from that training. So just a simple Facebook ad to get people to go straight to your group would be really beneficial too for you.
Okay, great.
Cool.
Yeah, and then the other thing, man, is just you have 15 people in there, and are any of them not clients, or are they?
None of them are clients.
Okay, have you chatted with them all? Like,
yeah, not in depth, but I have chatted with them a little bit.
Send every person in that group this message. Hey, so excited you're in the group. Just curious. Is there anything, you mind if I ask you a few questions to see if I can help you in any way? Question mark. Or help you further. That's another way of saying it. Not sure if he's
frozen or he's like, whoa. I see the same thing.
So if you're on here still, and you're wanting help creating frameworks and your process from cold, no clue who you are, to warm, hot.
Here we go.
Did you catch that?
I heard you say, ask everyone this question, and then you froze.
Boom. All right. So bonus, if you didn't catch it the first time and you're listening too, here it is again. So go to the members in your group and ask them this.
So, hey, or just like, hey, how's it going? You're in our group. So, however, what you want to say that. Mind if I ask you a few questions to see if I can help you further? So acknowledge they're in the group, and then just ask them that. And then they're going to say most likely yes, and then just go through your qualifying questions and book a call. You probably have 3 to 5 calls that you could book in that group.
Yep.
Yeah.
A huge following or this big, large group to make things work. Just so
Yep.
You know, you and then everyone else that's watching. Yeah, it was funny when you froze. It like Chad dropped a bomb and you were like, that was great.
So if you're watching this and you have a coaching business and you want to grow and scale your coaching business, you want to set up those foundations, you want to create that sales process from cold, no clue who you are, to like super hot, like handing you money, more money than you could even ask for. Shoot us a message. There might be a button under here. There might be a link up there. Who knows? Just look around and.
Jeff, actually, can you put the link in the comments?
Yep.
Appreciate that.
So Quantum Impact Coaching / clients. So Quantum Impact Coaching
.com
/ coaching.
/ clients. Tig, is there anything, so for people who are watching, maybe they're considering, they've been following us for a little bit, any words of wisdom that you could pass on to them if they're trying to make a decision if they should work with us or not?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's been worth every penny I've spent and more. Where I was really getting stuck before, like I said, is not having a process, to grow the business, not having a process, a clear process to follow to get people into the funnel, and just how that whole process works. Yeah, definitely worth it. Do not go don't go out and spend money on software and all of this other supporting stuff that's supposed to enhance your career as a coach without a process. It doesn't make sense. It's going to be money and time wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Definitely.
That's that whole getting a funnel and setting it all up and doing all that stuff and not having any foundations or how this all works out.
Then wondering what's wrong, why it's not converting. So.
Yep.
Awesome. I really appreciate you. I really honor you. I'm so grateful that you're in our community and getting the results. I see so much more for you. And, this is just a piece, the very beginning of what's coming, and it's incredible. So we're going to wrap this up. I want to really honor everyone as well that's been watching this. Like, we've had no drop off, which is incredible. Like, not one person. They've been locked
6
on
people,
and
like,
listening
like this.
to the whole time. So that is absolutely amazing. If you'd like to have a conversation and see what we can do with that process, maybe you're having those long drawn out discovery calls and really want those frameworks and that process and solid foundations to be able to really launch your, not just launch and scale your coaching business to the next level, then let's book that call. Let's have that conversation and see how we can help you in any way. Tig, thank you so much. I know you are across the seas now, and I don't even know what time it is now, but we look forward to continue working with you and everyone else. We will talk to you guys all soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you, man. How do we stop sharing? Hey man, so that was awesome. Great job. Oh, he jumped off.